So let's get to this this Lou Dobbs clip,
Right. So,
and Mo Brooks too. You wanna get into that? You're especially passionate about it, Matt.
Oh boy,
yeah, this is a fun one. This is a fun one for me because it's right in my my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
All yesterday after this failed attempt at overturning the election for Donald Trump happened, where the Trump supporters broke into the Capitol. People who were not on the ground there, and a lot of these are the more professional class Republicans who saw these unwashed masses. Basically, they saw guys with shaggy hair and beards, and they must have assumed that they couldn't have possibly been upstanding Trump supporters. Trump supporters don't look like that. Automatically, you started seeing online the old trope from that we saw over the summer, especially this past summer, where they had to find the scapegoat, and that scapegoat is always now Antifa. You saw Rep. Matt Gaetz spread this rumor on the this misinformation, really, on the House floor yesterday. Louis Gohmert took to Twitter to spread these conspiracies. Dinesh D'Souza did that as well. A number of prominent conservatives did. And here is Representative Congressman Mo Brooks from Alabama on Lou Dobbs on Fox Business, spreading that rumor via visual video.
Course, obvious videotape suggestion that Trump supporters themselves were involved, but it could be any number of other groups, anarchists or what have you, that could have taken advantage of this opportunity to try to vandalize the United States Capitol. So I urge everyone to not form a judgment until our investigative capabilities have been exercised in full, and I promise you, we will know whether it was one or more of those groups in combination that conducted this violence on the United States Capitol grounds, and I don't care who they are. Yeah. They need to be fully prosecuted under the United States law to the fullest permitted by law.
Yes, and there have been reports that there were instigators. There is no evidence or proof, as you allude to those suspicions, and in some cases,
well, we did have Lou. We did have some advance
speculations.
Warning that there might be Antifa elements masquerading as Trump supporters in advance of the attack on the Capitol. So there is some evidence, but whether that's true or not, I can't say.
Yeah, it's evidence of intelligence that wasn't apparently well used by the authorities. But when I said we don't have evidence, we have nothing more than speculation at this point. Some conjuring about the prospect of the possibility, but I think your caution is a correct one nonetheless.
Right,
so that was even too conspiratorial for Lou Dobbs. Like he had to try to tamp that down.
Right, I was thinking the same thing.
It's because his audience is among the people storming the Capitol.
Lawsuits, yeah.
Right.
I mean, we talked about it this last night, right? The idea that Antifa, it's just like three Antifas on top of each other in a trench coat. If you actually try to catch and unmask one of these guys, in this case, considering the respective frames and densities, I would say it's like three Antifa guys wide standing next to each other in a trench coat.
Right. I mean, if you look at the videos from yesterday, it's a rare instance yesterday where there was a mass group of Trump supporters holding an event in public, and there were no counter protesters. There was no one even went up against them, because the overall talk online, even in leftist circles and anti-fascist circles, is basically, this is going to be a shit show on January 6th. Let them basically get themselves into the shit.
And what's the point of protesting? Like, the election has been won. I mean, nobody thought. We always imagined something like this could happen, and it was, of course, in the realm of possibility, but no one actually thought they were going to break down the doors and could have potentially taken Ilhan Omar hostage or something like that. I mean, that was close to happening yesterday.
Yeah. Well, they even turned against some prominent supporters of the president. Like I mentioned earlier, when Sam was on the show before he left on the first half of the show, you had people on the right turning against the QAnon shaman, the QAnon supporter in the Viking hat, who was one of the first people in the Capitol building, who was taking pictures behind the gavel on the Senate floor.
Yeah, they were
in the chambers.
Look at that fucking hipster. Who does he think he is?
That guy's on so much artificial testosterone. Like, I just know that kind of guy, and like and men vitality pills. Ugh.
I mean, there's literally dozens of videos of this guy throughout the past year at least, where he's forcefully supporting Donald Trump and talking about stop the steal and winning back the re-election for Trump, and shouting about how Democrats and Hollywood liberals are all part of a global satanic pedophile ring at Trump while he's at Trump rallies. This guy is among the most hardcore of hardcore Trump supporters. Also, sort of funny now, if you think about it, that he is now being demonized via a conspiracy theory, and he's now got to convince people that he really isn't a Antifa member while he's been calling everyone else a pedophile. But,
he made himself very noticeable, and then it sounds like last night he was the one that was telling people to leave. They saw him, they pegged him out as one of the leaders, and I'm sure they said, "Hey, you're going to help us clear this Capitol, or we're going to give you massive, massive charges." And right. That's what I imagine happened.
Right. And then there was this Washington Times article that Matt Gaetz brought up on the House floor yesterday, which basically claimed that they were given evidence by a former military official from a company called, what is it, XR Vision, a facial recognition company, where they did some work on the photos that came out using their special algorithm technology to basically find that at least 2 people who were in the Capitol storming it and breaking stuff were members of Antifa. And Washington Times ran with this story, and they didn't share that evidence. They said we were showed it, but didn't provide any photos or the proof that they were given by this military official from XR Vision. And then last night I was doing some digging, and the company, the XR Vision, is like barely a real facial recognition company. Their CTO is actually himself a right-wing conspiracy theorist. He runs a blog completely obsessed with Hunter Biden, and he basically puts the XR Vision logo on all of his like photos he creates online.
It's called branding. It's called branding.
Right, exactly. But then on top of that, aside from the fact that this company consists of right-wing conspiracy theorists to begin with, they put out a statement today. They gave it to BuzzFeed saying, "We didn't give Washington Times anything. We dispute their claim completely, and we're sending them a cease and desist, and we want an apology and a retraction." Whoa. So even the right-wing facial recognition company is saying that the idea that they're proving Antifa was there is unfounded, and Washington Times is just basically pulling it out of their ass. So that's where that whole Antifa thing came from. That Rep. Matt Gaetz and other congressmen, Republican congresspeople, are flaunting as proof that Antifa, not Trump supporters, were somehow responsible for yesterday.
Yeah. No, if anything good comes from this, I mean, I think it's that people view these psychopaths, most people view these psychopaths as being scarier than anti-fascist organizers at this point in time.